Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you all to yet another episode, another edition of Extreme Memories with yours truly. My name is Kris Kloss. I am your host, and this has been a lot of fun going down memory lane, quite literally. Today, we are going to go down back to the 1.0 era, the XPW 1.0 era from 99 to 2003, and we're going to watch a very special event. This was a big shift in XPW to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Before I get into all of that, I want to remind you guys and thank you guys for supporting Extreme Memories right here on the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And by the way, fans, we don't want to just interview. This has been so much fun. We don't want to just interview people that were in front of the camera or that even worked in XPW behind the camera. We want to interview the heart and soul in what made XPW. Wasn't me, wasn't the wrestlers, wasn't even the guys running it. It was you, the fans. My guests can concur that to this day, people come up to us and ask us, hey, talk about XPW. So there's a lot of passion out there. Drop us a comment, hit us up, and let us know if you want to come on this show. And if you were one of the diehard fans that really kept XPW going, we would love to get your take on things. Before I get into today's episode anymore, into the show, the event that we will be watching, reacting to, and watching along with you, I want to introduce our guest, the guy who I'm going to be watching it with. And this guy and I, we go way, way back. This was one of the guys instrumental with me getting into the business. And one of the original guys that, like myself, Supreme, Kevin Kleinrock, were the only ones that went from the very beginning all the way to the end of that 1.0 era. And we were also in the 2.0 era. So without further ado, senior official west of the Mississippi, we're talking about the great Patrick Hernandez. Welcome, my friend, to
Hey,
Extreme
Kris Kloss.
Memories.
Hey, Kris. Hello, and how are you, my friend? Thank you once again for inviting me.
You are very, very welcome, and it's great having you back on. We had a great interview with you when Extreme Memories first kicked off back in 2020. So much to talk about, and I got to tell you, we were also in the new iteration of the 3.0 era together. So you and I, my friend, we're the only two that really went all throughout that. We'll talk all about that, but today we are going to be watching, fans, and this was selected by today's guest, Patrick Hernandez, from August the 31st in 2002 from Viking Hall / the ECW Arena / what it became actually physically on paper, the XPW Arena. I'm talking about Viking Hall. I'm talking about Hostile Takeover. This was the first event where we were going east. We went to the East Coast, and it was a big transitional time, exciting time for the company as we were on TV coast to coast. So people, the fan base was already there, already set for us. Patrick, welcome to the show. And let me ask you to this. What made you pick a Hostile Takeover of all the events that we could have gone through?
I think it's because I want to say a good month, maybe, or 2 months, we were all anticipating this on how this was going to, XPW was already popular, but I think the popularity was going to be even more stronger invading the East Coast. But to be fair, there were also some mixed emotions. A lot of us were nervous. We really didn't know how Philadelphia was going to take XPW because, as you know, it's always been the home of ECW. So even on the flight, going with flying with a lot of the boys, they were talking about, what if they don't accept us, and and then the day of, the show, we have to be there early in the morning, and you can hear the vibe in the dressing room, you know, a lot of excitement and a lot of you know, nervousness in the dressing room.
Yeah.
But I think this was a very, very important show and a very important part of XPW history because
Right.
again, it's Philadelphia. You know, Philadelphia has always been known, you know, for hardcore wrestling, and here we are, you know, coming from the West Coast, invading, you
Yeah.
know, with our brand of hardcore. But that's why I chose it. I just think it's a
Okay.
very important part of XPW history.
I couldn't agree with you more. And in a way, it felt like, you know, we've been doing it for quite a few years at this point. But when we got there, it almost felt like another first show in a way, you know, the nervousness
Yes.
factor and the butterflies and all that. Well, hey, Patrick, without any further ado, we're going to get set. By the way, fans, once again, thank you for joining us. This is going to be a lot of fun. Sold out Viking Hall at the old ECW Arena, and we were the invaders at this time. And remember, WCW was gone, ECW was gone, so we had more eyeballs on us in a way because we were the only other product really on nationwide television, other than of course WWE. But yeah, let's do this, man. And when we have the audio on, Patrick and I will be quiet, and when we turn the audio down, then that's when we'll talk and converse. So once again, if you're listening on audio only, fans, go ahead and go to YouTube, type in XPW Hostile Takeover. It's the 1 hour 49-minute event, and when I count down right now, go ahead and hit play. So let's do this. August the 31st, 2002, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, XPW's Hostile Takeover from Viking Hall in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. There's the old XPW home video graphics right there. In today's time, it would look a little generic. But at the time, this was, look at that. Beautiful. High tech, all that. And what a way to kick it off.
From Tijuana, Mexico, here is Psychosis. His opponent from Hidalgo, Mexico, here is the insane luchador, Super Crazy. Fans, once again, I gotta tell you, the electricity in this building, very, very intense, as it's been all the time for professional wrestling. John Finnegan in the ring, getting ready to ref this match. It's gonna be our opening bout here tonight, XPW's first match ever on the East Coast. And yet, well, Psychosis letting Super Crazy know that he's number one. Super Crazy, Psychosis, about ready to get it underway now. Circling each other, sizing each other up, yes. Collar and elbow tie up.
Yeah, what a way to, like we were talking with Mike Hartsfield, and you know, a great way, Chaos and Vampiro kicking off Cold Day in Hell. When you have a great match kicking off a show, it's not the curtain jerker, it's not the lower mid card, it's a match like this. This really, once again, sets the pace for a great show, and people were hot, and a lot of curiosity factor too with the fans at this time, and excitement because they lost ECW, they lost wrestling in this building. So I know what you were talking about with like, hey, are they going to accept us? You had a little bit of that, but you did have like that, wrestling's back here again.
You know what's so funny is I even there was quite a few ECW regulars that would attend the shows there, and yet they were there to see XPW, which I thought was kind of cool.
Right.
So, you know, and then not only the fans, but with Super Crazy and Psychosis, like these are guys that were veterans from ECW,
Yep.
and their mentality too in the dressing room was nervousness, because again, you're working for another company, and so that was kind of interesting too. Everybody was
Right.
nervous and wanted to do great, and but under a different banner, so it was challenging. It was really challenging for everybody.
When we watched some of the footage back, I remember after this event, and I was excited to come into this building just because of the vibe and the feel of it. But I noticed after this event and when we were setting up, what looks different? The fans, when the old ECW footage, what looks different from this setup here? And what I realized was I looked back at the old ECW footage, see those black bleachers coming out of the wall? These fans are sitting on right there behind opposite hard cam. The bleachers are pushed in, and there's a separate set of bleachers are sitting on that black wall. The Hostile Takeover banners. See those bleachers back there? That's the
Yeah.
wall of bleachers that come out. So what
Yes.
ECW did was they pushed those in-house bleachers in, and they brought in their own steel bleachers, and they put them just a little bit closer to the ring all around, and it hugged the ring. So you didn't see that exit door right there. You didn't see that because
Oh
they
yeah, that's
brought
right.
bleachers. Yeah, so there were three of them
Yeah.
left, and you see them across hard cam there. There were three of them
Yes.
left in the back, and I remember asking, I can't remember who, Finnegan or somebody. I said, "You guys, there were bleachers all around the ring," and he goes, "They go, yeah, someone in here stole them." So there were only
Oh.
three of them left. That's why on the right side and by the exit door, you see those open spaces, and the fans are so far back on the right side here with those wall bleachers pulled out. And now we know that WWE had a hand in all this stuff, right? In all, they were involved with ECW. So that was all they're doing. ECW Indie League, they didn't do all that. That WWE came in to do that, right? To tweak it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why that's why the fans feel a little farther apart. That's why I see that open space back there. They had those silver bleachers were literally hugging all around the ring, and
Yeah, it was a tight shot around
right,
ringside, that with those bleachers.
yeah, and you didn't have those empty corners where you see that exit door. They were literally a circle of bleachers against the guard railing, and those black bleachers right there were just pushed back in like they didn't exist. So we didn't have all those bleachers, so that's why it looks and feels a little different. Opposite hard cam, those are the ones that were left that we
So I have
used.
a question. Those bleachers that you mentioned that were stolen, were they
Right.
stolen like right before as we got
Oh,
closer to our show?
no, I don't think so. I think I remember that I don't know, but they did get stolen after ECW was done.
The reason why I'm asking is because, and I think you know this too, that was another thing with us going to the East Coast. There were a lot of little remarks,
Yes.
a lot of chatter from different people from different sources on how they were going to try and shut us down, and
Right.
so again, it's like it's
Yeah.
curious how you brought up the whole bleacher thing, but that was another part of it too. That was another challenge for everybody. It's like not just are they going to accept us, but they were already writing us off. Whoever these people
Right.
were
That's
that were
right.
trying to get it shut down. I mean, unfortunately, um, that's always been the reputation with XPW. Every time we're getting closer to a show, there's somebody out there that's always trying to shut it down,
Ooh.
and it's always been that problem. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
I that's an absolute possibility, and possibly a probability that may have happened. Um, we had a nice little entranceway there. We pulled out all the stops. That's Mike Hartsfield. He designed that ring apron. We were actually in his office and we were looking at XPW logo, and well, why don't we just take off the red X and just make the letters across? And we okay, so we both kind of came up with that, just having the XPW across that ring apron instead of like XPW with the red X and a smaller logo. And like, let's just take out the red X, and we did, and that was it. So we could fit all the letters on that apron.
Yeah, Mike Hartsfield, man. I mean, that's a guy you should interview. I mean, I don't know if you've done it before.
We just
I
had
mean,
him.
yeah, I'm so, okay, there you go. But man, he was just a miracle worker. I mean,
Yeah.
he production wise, he made XPW polished.
Right.
You know, his hard work, man. I mean, long hours, you know, late into the next day he would work just to make sure, you know, production, you know, props, everything was just perfect. And
yes,
you know, he really, really made it look polished for everybody. His whole statement was, this isn't just you know, this isn't an indie fed, this is XPW. And his hard work was a big part of it.
You know, another mistake I'm noticing we made. See those lights right there, the 4 in a row?
Yeah.
Those were the ring lights. Those were the ring lights, possibly
Oh.
installed by WWE. Because why would a bingo hall have like boxing, wrestling ring lights right there? See that? However,
yeah,
we made a
I see 'em.
mistake. We made a mistake, and we left the house lights on. When ECW was in there, those house lights, all those lights right there over the fans, those lights were off. And again, with the bleachers,
Oh, okay.
with the bleachers brought in, you didn't need the house lights to light up the crowd. The ring lights would light it all up. So there were little tweaks. I remember noticing, not all of them right away, and noticed a few of them like much later. Like, oh man, there's little things we didn't quite do the same dressing up the arena. Because look at those fans; they look so far away right there, you know, on the right side. And see where the bleachers end on the left there. They again, they would circle.
Yeah,
See
look
those
how
fans? They look
far
so
they
far.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was again the wall bleachers that they're the in-house bleachers. But yeah, so like where how it is on hard cam, across hard cam, imagine it's circling the whole ring, and you didn't have the house lights on with ECW, so you couldn't see the rest of the room, you know, the open room. Again, great way to open this. And now, interestingly, you have one of our homegrown guys, Pogo, against an ECW alumni, the Sandman. And this is what I always applauded Rob and Kevin for doing, which was, you know, like some indie leagues, you got two big names, let's have them go against each other, and our guys will be on the bottom or mid card. But nope, we infused everybody. You know, you weren't an ECW guy wasn't just going to get the main event spot against another ECW guys. We were going to incorporate them with our homegrown guys, and this is a great example.
And they accepted it. I mean,
yeah.
and it's funny because, you know, a lot of the guys that did cross over from ECW to XPW, and again, you know this too, Kris, you've talked to a lot of them, you know, when they started coming over, a lot of them were like, you know, like if this was their first big time ever working in a major promotion, I mean, the excitement in their voices and, oh my God, XPW, and, you know, they really wanted to be a part of it. I mean, you know, I thought that was kind of cool.
Absolutely. Even guys like Terry Funk, Abdul the Butcher, like even them, you know, Sabu, because again, they're getting bookings all over the place for indie shows, but now they see that this is a television product, coast to coast. So they now, with their experience, they know, hey, I'm going to get TV time. I'm going to get my shine. And so they treat that, for the most part, you're right. They treated it that way, and they would have been foolish not to, for their own brand building of themselves. They're on TV, you know.
Yeah, it was just, you know, again, you know, hearing from a lot of these guys, you know, after, you know, as the years went by, as we continued with XPW, you know, a lot of them that we would see, you know, often in the dressing room, they were just totally like, oh, you know what? I'm so happy about XPW. I'm glad to be here. And, you know, the dressing room, everyone in the dressing room are cool people. And, it was a big family type of atmosphere. And just and a lot of people see a lot of wrestling fans don't know this, and a lot of people have heard the good and the bad stories about XPW, and a lot of the fans don't really know that we wanted to do we wanted to entertain the wrestling fans, and we were just so happy, so hyped to do so. We weren't crazy in the dressing room or anything. Everybody was on the same page.
Right.
Everybody wanted to see XPW succeed. And I think a lot of fans, they don't know that,
Yeah.
with all the negativity in the past, but we're telling you right now, it was a big family atmosphere.
Yeah.
Everybody cheered everyone on, to
Right.
do well, and
Right.
everyone accepted their role. Everybody knew what their role was, like you mentioned earlier. We blended in some talent from ECW with the homegrown talent of XPW, and whatever the outcomes were, everyone accepted it, and it just made everything a lot smoother. And it made it a comfortable working environment for all the wrestlers.
And like you said, everybody cheering each other on and wanting them to do good and wanting the company to do good. It's like if you weren't, you were gone. You were out. And those guys did get weeded out. So um, um, let's get a little audio here, George. Oh, and there's referee Patrick Hernandez right there, senior official.
Beaten within an inch of his life. The rib.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about that guy.
He'd stand up.
You got look at that. Yeah, other than now he's got no control.
What happened? That's always been the big question doing all this for all these years, is what happened?
Might have a punch in one, too, ladies and gentlemen. Sandman, he is hurt. Sandman's wife, Lori Fullington, coming to the ring. And this match officially announced a no contest. Lori Fullington.
See, there's that's another thing. Like, this was like the first debut of Sandman's wife showing up. I mean, there was just a lot of talent in the dressing room on that day, knowing that we're coming into town, and
Yeah.
a lot of workers stopped by and to watch the product. But little things like this with Sandman's wife, like, everybody wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I think that's
obviously,
what made things. I think also that made things a lot easier for us, as far as the local guys like you, me, flying out there, mixing it up with a lot of extra East Coast talent, knowing that they were back there and everybody was just very welcoming. I think that helped a lot in our our
yeah.
nerves, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree.
The
There's
acceptance.
the equivalent of Popeye's spinach. She gave him the beer and then he sat up.
That should
Yeah.
be a T-shirt. A beer
Right.
that makes it look like spinach, but it's beer. And
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, see how bright it is there? The white walls, like in
yeah,
ECW,
yep.
you wouldn't have seen any of that. Those house lights, we left those house lights on. We actually had to do the same at Cold Day in Hell because the lights we brought in just didn't light everything up enough. So we unfortunately had to turn the house lights on at Aviation. Speaking of that, these guys had a rematch at XPW 2.0 at Cold Day in Hell. So they were setting stuff up. Obviously, there's a payoff because you saw they had a feud after that. That was two guys. Awesome. I thought this was a great match. Mexico's Most Wanted, Damien 666, who just got honored at the Cauliflower Alley Club last year, and in Las Vegas, rightfully so.
Did you
And
notice something? I'm sorry, Chris.
yeah,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but did you also notice too, the video screen? That was the debut of the video screen too.
yeah, right. The entranceway.
The entranceway.
Yes. Oh, it did. He was Smokey, right? Smokey Carmichael.
Yes, that's right.
He was a riot, man. This guy was hilarious, funny guy. But he came off as like anything but how he was in real life. The jokes. We had each other's same sense of humor, and it was just like a prankster kind of guy. It's funny, man. A
But
ribbon.
you see though, what you're saying though is the talent. How happy these guys were to be part of it, just to be part of XPW. Again, it's like these guys all want to do well, and
Yeah,
it was just it's like once the show started, all the nervousness went out the door. It was just time to go out there and perform. You
yeah,
know, it just made it a lot easier.
absolutely. I really like these guys. They were so talented, man. They had one of the badass finishing maneuvers. The what was it
Oh
called? The
yeah, I mean,
Montezuma's
devastating.
Montezuma's Revenge, and it was that like that spin and then boom into the drop kick. Good stuff. Yeah, I look. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I'm just looking at the arena here, and that was one of my things. I was very into that, and helped set a lot of that stuff up with the lighting and all that, just from being a fan from when I was a kid and watching how the big leagues did it, and all that stuff was so important. See where the banner's at right there. There's actually closer. There's a rope with a pipe on it, right over. Let's say where the guard railing is, and that's where ECW they installed that. Probably WWE installed it to put their show banners up. And I noticed it. I told that to Rob. He goes, "No, we can't put it there." I'm like, "Rob, that's what that's for. They that's for the banners." And he's like, "Well, I don't know. We did it for Exit Sandman, and then that was it." But yeah, so we put the banner against that wall of bleachers farther away from the ring, and in reality, they're supposed to be close as possible. See, that's just against the bleacher wall back there. But there's one
Yeah.
that hangs down. All the ECW, they would hang down right by just above the guard railing. So for television, like when you watch WWE and you see they don't hold the banners up anymore, but they do hold that hang that WrestleMania sign up every year. That's much closer to the ring than it looks like it is on television. It's much closer. So there's just little tricks like that. I mean, it still looks great here. Don't get me wrong. It still looks great, but there's just little tweaks. That's just my mind, fans. I'll stop talking about that now, but I wanted to point that out for everybody watching.
No, but it's true though, because you are a big part of behind the scenes as well as on the camera, but you notice stuff like that. And again, it's like everyone's feedback, we all fed off of that,
Right.
where little things to polish the product. So,
Yes.
and that's another big part about the wrestling business is, the longer you do this, you get to know not just the wrestling side of the business,
Ooh.
but the production of the
Yes.
wrestling business, and I think it's very important, to polish it up as much as you can. Are the cameras going to catch, the XPW
Yep.
banner,
By the way,
as you're
see that sign, Roberto Negro, the right there, the Spanish translation of Rob Black,
Rob Black. That's right.
Roberto
That's
Negro.
Roberto Negro.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I
so
mean,
let's get a little. And when the audio's on, we'll let it play, Pat. We won't talk, but let's get a little audio here, George, and we'll let this hear a little bit of this, the sights and sounds of Hostile Takeover.
Smokey Robinson, Carmichael. Off the rope. Oh, look at that. Going nowhere this Halloween. Size advantage indeed. Up the ropes again. No. Once again, Halloween goes nowhere, but Smokey Carmichael goes flying. And now it's Halloween just toying with them. And what a clothesline that was. Leveling Smokey Carmichael. And look at this, perhaps a different Strokes reunion we're going to see tonight. But where is Conrad Bain? Off the ropes. Clothesline, duck underneath. Carmichael once again. Sidewalk slam, no. Flying head scissors. Halloween going out of the ring, and he looks more like Willis to me. Up and over. Oh my goodness. Look at the elevation right on top of Halloween. Outside of the ring. One more look, Ben. Smoky Carmichael. And he landed flat on top of Halloween. Halloween going crashing down onto the concrete floor. And these two Black Panthers have a plethora of high-flying aerial tactics. And what they lack in size, they're making up for it for the speed, the agility. As Mexico's
Okay, George. Yeah, man, the three explosive matches already to kick things off, you know, and different. Every match different. You know, you had the two luchadors in the beginning. You had the big payoff to come, schmoz kind of deal with Pogo and Sandman with a big name like Sandman. And then you had just an awesome tag team match in Halloween, man. Look, what a great look that guy had.
Oh yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head earlier. I mean, Damien and Halloween, I mean, they were just such a perfect combination to wrestle for XPW and then to hold the tag titles. I mean, these guys were just so awesome. Great matches, veterans of the sport.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's you know, when they became the tag champs, I mean, a lot of people knew who they were even more. You know, their popularity skyrocketed.
Absolutely. That move right there, how dangerous was that? You know, you can compress your spine. You saw the drop kick. I mean, what's to protect you? Like, I mean, wrestling, there's so much now that the guys, I mean, I'm not saying the guys today don't put their bodies on the line, but there's just certain things that you see that, you know, there's a lot of things that aren't allowed anymore in wrestling, you know, with the concussion protocols and all that.
It's changed a lot now.
It's changed a lot. And yeah, you dude, Halloween, Damien, and just their name. How cool of a name was Mexico's Most Wanted? Just the coolest.
Yeah, I mean,
just a badass name, man.
It's like it was fitting for XPW. Seriously.
Yes, not only them, but for the company, absolutely. And this is where that name was founded for this team, correct?
I believe so. I believe you're right.
If we are wrong, if anyone knows that, correct us in the comments. But if we're right, that's what I thought. We call them Mexico's Most Wanted. I think I don't, you know, they may have used that down in TJ and Mexico City. Who knows? But
you know what? Honestly, I think you're right. I think when they would travel to defend the XPW titles in Mexico, they had that whole Mexico's Most Wanted logo attached to them. So no, okay. I think you're right. And then this tag team, the tag team, Smoky Carmichael, and what's the name of his tag team partner?
Malcolm Jamal Warner. I mean Malcolm XL.
And where did they come from?
They were I want to say they were connected with Luke and came possibly some from the South, possibly from also Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken, because I want to say they were, I don't know if they were Luke's boys. Look at that. Beautiful, man. Oh, into the crowd.
Oh,
that's right. That was one of the spots we used on the intro after this. Look at this.
Oh, that's right. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. This was one of those spots that was just a great, just said what our company was spots, you know.
Let me say something too. And I noticed John Finnegan, that was another, at least for me, that was another big deal for me where Rob told me, look, you're going to be working with John Finnegan. I mean, that was a big thing for me, knowing the history of John Finnegan, even before ECW. You know, John Finnegan in the East Coast has refereed a ton of big matches, and to work with him, when I got there and I got to the dressing room, he was really cool. He came up to me, he shook my hand, he was just really happy. I think also, I forgot who it was, but a wrestling photographer took pictures of both of us, and you know, it was just really cool to work with him
Yeah.
and you know his experience. But yeah, they took pictures of us shaking hands together, and
Yeah.
they build it West versus
Yes.
meets East, or East meets West. But it was
That's right.
fun. I mean, it was just awesome.
And I felt the same way with Joey Styles. Once he came in, um,
Yes,
it was
there you
a
go.
little rocky because at first they wanted to just put him in there and without me, but then the word, unfortunately, Joey never because he didn't last. There are TV episodes. He was there for about a month, and at the time we were going to come back to LA. I was going to do the West Coast shows, kind of like a Superstars and Wrestling Challenge. You had Vince on one, Gorilla on the other. I was going to be doing the West Coast events. He was going to be doing the East Coast events, and then we were going to come together for the would be pay-per-views. And man, oh man, I it's just a bad luck thing that never got to happen. But that was the plan, and yeah, that was exciting. Kind of the same way you're reminding me of talking about Finnegan and yourself.
And I think that that's another thing. A lot of fans don't know this, but before XPW um, closed, there were a lot of big, big events that were going to upcoming
Oh wait,
for the
sorry. Let's get
future.
audio here, George.
Oh, no, don't tell me. Whoa, Montezuma's revenge. 1, 2, that's it. It's over.
That's one of the best finishers right there.
Yeah.
Still, whoa, tag team
World
champion.
Tag Team Champions, Mexico's most wanted.
Okay, George.
But you
Oh,
see,
Angel. So wait. Let's get a little audio. This is the first match now with two homegrown guys on the East Coast. King of the Deathmatch. Oh, what a match
and it's
this was. Oh my gosh.
you talk about action, you're going to get it.
Now we had a couple guys from, what was that company? Not OVW. Was it OVW? No. But they got kicked out because they tried to kind of invade, and I want to say it's right here in the beginning.
His opponent.
I think it was CZW, wasn't it?
Okay, maybe it was CZW. And you could, I want to say it's this match. Oh, maybe it's not this match. It was Supreme though.
He is
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't
Yeah.
think it had to do with this match.
Okay, it was Supreme, and Supreme was like, get out of here. Like, what? Oh yeah, here it is. Why? This is it. They're getting kicked out.
Oh, okay.
Of the
Oh, what?
ECW Arena here in Philadelphia, as we're about to get rowdy in the center of the ring.
I was trying to downplay it, but it,
Is set. The last show of
see that
XPW
Supreme, get the
out
F out,
Los
you know.
California. Night of Champions saw these two men meet in the finals of the 2002.
Well, that's too bad because those guys missed a great match.
I know.
Anyone's match. It could have gone either way.
See, here I'm just trying to kind of downplay it, but you know, you can't help when everyone's looking in the arena one way.
Oh, absolutely.
XPW has signed the rematch between these two. And Supreme, I think, even knows that Angel, yes, Angel is capable of walking out of here tonight as the Deathmatch champion, but he's got his work cut out for him.
It was a little tough, I'll be honest, doing it solo. I mean, it was a lot more work doing it solo because Wantastico, Rivera were gone at this point, and there were really no plans. They're like, oh, you're just doing it yourself. I'm, oh, okay. And then, boy, I really appreciate having somebody next to you to bounce off of. I mean, I did it. It was fine, but boy, oh boy, man, it's you got the whole load when. So anyway, I appreciate Rivera, Wantastico, really big time, you know, for
Trust me, for you to make a comment like that, I totally understand when you end up doing a whole show by yourself.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that until now, just kind of hearing this, you know. But man, oh man, what better referee to be in there again? This was the first match on the East Coast with two XPW homegrown guys. And man, what a way. And look at, we had to do something big, something special. We couldn't do a lower mid card of two XPW guys. It had to be this. And I remember being very excited for this match in particular because of that fact. It was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. From Hollywood, from West Hollywood. These guys are two LA guys, and that's it. We're going to showcase these guys for the East Coast fans, and man, did they deliver.
I think that's one of the things too. I do remember, God rest his soul, Supreme. You know, I
Yes.
talked to him in the dressing room, you know, and I gave him a little pep talk, you know, as well as Angel, you know, and I told him, look, go out there and tear it up, you know, let these people know who you are. You know, you're here in Philadelphia, let them know who you are, you know, and go out there and just bring the house down. And you know, they did. I mean, they hit the big home run. And you're right, this is a type of match you need to have, you know, for XPW with these two guys. You know, you're doing a debut show, you need to have this type of a caliber match.
Yeah.
You know, a death match. And yeah, I mean, the crowd just ate it up as it picked up even more. The crowd was just totally into it.
Yes. And this is one of those matches where it's like, okay, guys, this is, you got to prove yourself. You know, you had Sandman in there, you had Psychosis and all that. But this was the true match of the guys that were there in XPW from, you know, the early days, especially Supreme. Again, I'm proud to say that it was Supreme, the late great Supreme, myself, this gentleman right here, Patrick Hernandez, and Kevin Kleinrock, that were the only ones that lasted from beginning. I mean, of course, Rob and Lizzie, but that lasted from day one, July of '99, all the way to spring of 2003. We were the only ones that lasted that whole 10 years. So this was the first match truly of this is all XPW here. Now we're on the East Coast in the old ECW Arena. These guys were great, man. And you know, we'll see the last bump where Angel gets power bombed off the balcony, and he got shooken up pretty bad on that one.
Yeah, he did.
Look at
And then
that. Look at,
and just the amount of blood that was lost between both of these guys.
Yeah, look at
And
this.
they continued.
Right.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. It's like you didn't even need the light bulbs to break for that.
So this is a part where I'm constantly making sure they're okay when I can get to them.
Okay.
I'm constantly like making sure. Plus, I'm trying to stay out of their way because there's so much, you know, weapons all over the place, you know, and you know, because I've gotten caught before with my uniform, and it doesn't feel good. But yeah, I mean, I try to make sure they're okay.
Oh. Yeah, you got your hands full, man. There's so much going on for you guys here. I mean, there's so much, and you have limited space, you know. And again, that's one thing we did, that ECW did, was we pushed those guard railings as close to the ring as possible. And again, that intimate, rowdy setting, close to the action, you know. And I guess you fans can kind of see now what I'm talking about with, there's the bleachers. Imagine that again, all around the ring with those security railings close to the ring, just everybody hugging the ring, you know. And again, there were only 3 bleachers left, and I think there were like 6 or 7 that were missing. You know, there were 10, I want to say, to go around the whole thing. So yeah, you had corners of beds of barbed wire. You had barbed wire light tubes around the ring.
There we go. See, I
Yeah.
wish, I wish now that I'm looking at all this, I mean, I wish I could have worn gloves a lot
Oh,
sooner during
right.
this time, you know, and
Yeah.
I just didn't. But I mean, I do now, but during this time, I wish I could have, you know.
You had the industrial gloves and the industrial goggles I used to put over that you can't get at Home Depot. These are
No,
special order construction.
special
Yes, special order.
sanctioned by the athletic commission.
Yeah, you could they don't sell heavy duty this quite level of heavy duty at just any Lowe's or Home Depot. You got to get them special order.
Yes.
So yeah, Angel, I'm sure what color or no yet. Oh, let's get some audio here, George.
Gotta be kidding me. Suplex coming up. Suplex into the bed of light bulb. Supreme still wheeling away on Angel.
Fans are all on their feet.
Everybody,
Angel laid out.
everybody's standing.
Supreme
Yeah.
breaking the face of Angel with the light bulb. And you can see the blood literally flowing now out of the forehead of the hardcore homo Angel. Rubber chicken. Supreme.
I kind of like how Angel wears pink, where you could start to see the blood
Yeah.
as it starts to stain his ring gear.
More weapons around the ringside area. More damage about to be inflicted. No! Face buster into the bed of barbed wire with the light bulbs on top.
And look,
Angel
not a
in
scratch on Supreme.
right now.
Yeah.
A lot of blood, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, look at his face. Look at the fans, these hardcore fans, very standoffish of the carnage. They don't even want to look. And I don't know if I do either. Over the guard railing goes the hardcore homo Angel. And look at this. Supreme forcing senior official Patrick Hernandez to help him, to aid him, to assist him with that bed of light bulbs. As they
Yeah, see, again, you wouldn't have all this area to really walk around. Yeah, there's the big
Did you?
screen right there. There's the
There's
big
the big
screen,
screen.
the entranceway. Very,
And
very elaborate.
this was also the debut of Atlas Security too, working with
Yeah,
XPW.
God rest his soul to the one that passed away. And man, Ronnie and all those guys, they were the best. Those guys were just awesome.
And let me tell you something about those guys, like Ronnie, who you mentioned. Man, they were tickled pink working for XPW on that day. They
And
showed
they,
up
right.
and they were so happy to be part of
Yeah.
it. It was so funny
Right.
to see their attitude.
We joked, man, because those were the guys that tried to pull me over the guard railing at the Grand Olympic at ECW's Heat Wave with the invasion, and it was a war. And then when we met, like, hey, we're good. Yeah, that was funny. That was whatever. And
Yeah.
hey, they were signing his paycheck at the time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is, right?
Look at this power bomb. No, reversed. Oh my gosh. Oh my dude. Again, look at this, man. Like,
See, they're getting a
Supreme.
taste. They're getting a taste of what the West Coast was.
That's right. And let's not forget that, of course, originated in Japan, but we actually brought a lot of that into American wrestling. Oh wait, audio.
from behind. Holy fucking shit!
Perfect timing.
Yeah, I want to say I said
Angel from behind, wheeling away at Supreme.
fans, this is effed up. I want to say I just said that before.
No idea where Angel was or what he was doing. And just like that, the human film bouncing back. Angel knows this
It
room
is kind of
very
cool,
well.
though, to have the extra lighting to capture this as they go into the crowd.
Going into the stall now.
By the
I
way,
hope they
I
flush.
just said Angel knows this room very well, the women's
Supreme
room.
doesn't
We
get
were
into
we
the
were
wall,
ahe-
into the
we were
toilet.
ahead of our time with the the intergender bathrooms. So look at this. We were
There you go.
we were woke before it was even invented. The guys were going into the they
Guys going into
identified
the
for a moment, they identified that way and they decided to go in there, and now they're back to being male hardcore wrestlers. All
It's
right,
a
so they're going.
first. It's a first.
Yeah, they're going back to the now they're going working their way over
I
to the
think
balcony.
to the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, to the balcony, I want to say. See the bleachers right
Yes.
there, those silver ones the fans are sitting on, those are them. Look at this now, going upstairs. And there's the banner. It was called XPW's Monday Nightmare. That was when XPW TV aired and in this part of the country, in Philly and wherever else, New York. But we were on Monday nights there. It was XPW's Monday Nightmare, which was a cool name for the show, I thought.
Perfect
Very cool.
XPW.
Yeah, a very, very cool name, man. Monday Nightmare. So
All right,
yeah,
here we go.
it was the same show by and large, but in LA, West Coast, it was most markets, it was on Saturday nights. And hey, wherever you can get the time slot, right?
Yeah,
Oh, that air
absolutely.
conditioning duct ruining everything there. Or that whatever that is, heating duct, air conditioning duct. Okay, I
think
guess
we're
we'll get
getting
some audio.
closer.
Yeah, let's get some audio, George, and this is it. This is the finish here.
No, Supreme on the table. There's a table up there. As if they weren't high enough already. My goodness, Supreme with Angel. Supreme. Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. There's a bed of barbed wire and light bulbs down below. Supreme had this mapped out the whole time. And Angel's got to do something now. This could be life-ending. Oh, my goodness. No.
Yeah, he's dead.
Fans, let's take a look at this one more time. Angel from the top of the XPW Arena. And those tables barely gave an inch.
Wow, that was a huge piece of light bulb that just shot across.
Little give under the concrete floor. 1, 2, it's over. 3. Supreme retains the title. Supreme is still the XPW King of the Deathmatch champion. As he orders Patrick Hernandez to go get his belt.
XPW King of the Deathmatch champion, Supreme.
Rest in peace, big guy.
Yes.
What a sight that is. Look at that, man. Doing above and beyond, Patrick Hernandez right there.
It was so funny. When I got to the arena there.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I want you to hold, if you can't hold that thought, but this I think we need audio because of the juice. This is funny stuff,
The
man.
juice.
Let's do this, George. The juice bar. Well, we could wait till he starts talking, but yeah, please. This was Webb's. It was great. The caption made this so funny.
I've heard that before.
What the juice is cooking.
That's
Subtitles.
genius. It really is.
Right.
Moving to Guerrera.
This is a pleasure for the Jews to be in a juicy house. So tonight, XPW has been doing the best decision ever to bring the Jews to the juicy house.
What?
And he loved it, man.
Yeah.
The times that we've gotten together doing shows, like we would bring that up, and he loved it. He loved the whole
it was
young
a
juice.
This
You
was.
don't get tired?
Let's read this here.
Suck my dick.
Um,
All you fucking jabronis and marks. What kind of respect is that? You gotta respect, not the best one, not the great one. You gotta respect the juicy one.
Oh, God. Kind of knew
The
it.
juice is loose.
Because it's all about the juice, baby. And the juice is loose.
yeah.
And the juice is on the loose. You know, a lot of jabronis, a lot of jokers in the back try to get a match with the juice. I don't see any good talent in this building.
What are you talking about?
Maybe because they're from Philly.
Whoa.
I don't know. So I even see a Chris Chatty or Chris Giovanni Chatty. Oh, come on, bro. Let me have a match with the Juice. I know he's the best. I want to learn from him. What the hell is that?
You have got to be kidding me.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Who does this guy think he is?
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Who gave him the microphone?
I said, fuck you, son of a god.
That's your language.
You want some of this? You want some juicy juice?
No, thank you.
I know, lady. You know the juice. You're the best.
He's having so much fun.
Yeah.
You see, there's some real good juicy people in this town. Not like all you suck out.
What the hell is a juicy person?
It's okay. I'm getting tired of all you suckers. So let's have some juicy action. The best action. The non-stop action with the juice man.
Well, apparently Chris Chatty
Hey,
has had enough of this
The
bashing.
juice is talking, okay?
You probably can't understand the
Hey.
juice either.
First of all, this is the juice bar.
Juice bar. Is that watermelon?
I don't know what you're trying to do.
Okay. I guess we can.
Possibly left over from the new
Chatty or
Panther.
Chatty, whatever you are. I just got a question. And I know all these people want to know that. I just want to ask you something. I just want to know how far can you deep frog? All the way?
Whoa, Chris Chatty.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. He was having a blast, and this was kind of a resurgence in his career too. He kind of a new little gimmick for him. You know what I mean? Of doing this,
Yes.
the whole juice bar thing with the subtitles, and it was over, and it was so funny. I mean, that was Webb's idea, and Webb was very good at coming up with certain things like this. And he just a simple thing, because that caption made this whole character, this whole gimmick. It's just putting the caption on. Like you're not the caption is for if it's a different language on there, and they're treating it as if he's talking a different language because it's so broken. It's just brilliant, you know.
It's genius, really. And it just really put him over to a new level. And
Yeah,
I think
comedic.
I think also can you imagine if he would have had like a TV title on himself?
Right.
I think with just that, I think it would have put him over even more with
Yeah.
just the fans noticing this TV champion, and yet, you know, the he's having trouble on the mic. You can't understand him. I think, you know, it's good stuff.
It's
you know?
great. Yeah. And it's something so simple. Like you said, it's genius, and it's just something so simple. It's putting caption
Now,
up there.
Now, Chris Chetty, he was one of those guys that was just so happy to be part of
Yeah.
XPW. And going back to the video screen, I think it was him, now that I'm thinking about it. But when I got to the arena, it was the debut of the video screen, that Videotron thing. And the guys, the local guys from, that were there from ECW, some of the guys that are brand new, like Chetty, Danny Darling, I think it is, or Daring, I think it was. But they were watching the video montage of XPW, and there was a lot of highlights, of course, from the West Coast, and they were like fascinated, like, oh my God, did you see that? And where was this? And I remember telling them this all took place in the West Coast, and they were just fascinated by the montage of what XPW already accomplished.
Yeah, and it was interesting that like a lot of those guys weren't. I mean, look, when you work in the business, it's different. You're just caught up in whatever you're doing. We've had conversations on Xtreme Memories before of guys in XPW. When we were doing this, a lot of us got a little disconnected with other wrestling, WWE and WCW at that time, because we're just so focused on what we're doing, and people like, well, what did you think of the other product when you were doing? Like, I'll be honest, I don't know. We had to really just do our thing and put all our wrestling focus onto that. And so a lot of these guys, yeah, you're right, they didn't even know about this yet. It was great. The fans knew a lot more than these guys coming in, these former ECW guys, about us, again, because we were on what an advantage it was, Pat, for us to have TV. I mean, that's when everything changed. XPW was turning heads and had some eyeballs on it when we first debuted. Big shows, big names, and wrestling was hot. But then everything just changed when TV came in. The sports arena, the Grand Olympic at that point, out of the Reseda Country Club. I mean, everything just completely shifted, and you could feel it now. Going back here, going to all these events, like, whoa, everybody here knows exactly everything because they see it every Saturday night. They're watching here Monday nights. They're watching this. And you could feel that, you could feel that different feeling from when we debuted. Again, hot crowds, but it just had a different feeling once TV came in.
And here's another thing too, I was thinking about. You were talking on how lucky we were to have television, but what other wrestling promotion at the time, in the West Coast, with a product like this, and yet we had a lot of wrestling photographers from different magazines covering us. I mean, who
100%.
had that opportunity? We had it. We had the coverage. I mean, I still have from different wrestling magazines the coverage that these photographers would cover on us. And I mean, how many wrestling promotions got that chance to be covered in a lot of wrestling magazines? We were even covered in Japan. Yes. I have a Japanese wrestling magazine with XPW in it. I mean, that was a big deal. I mean, not just the television, but just the magazine coverage was huge.
Yeah, all of it, and again, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have been in this building. We wouldn't have been on the East Coast, but with people and the knowledge that they had about our company. Again, it's just that is why we are here. That is why there are people in this building. That's why there are people that are already familiar with, again, the Angel Supreme match and everybody else that was never in ECW. And, this was, and wrestling was still hot at this time too. 2002, you're coming out of the Attitude NWO era. So it was still a hot time. It wasn't the Attitude era anymore, but the leftover kind of vibe of big time wrestling was still in the air. Let's say like WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3 or whatever. By WrestleMania 7 and 8, it was like that massive boom wasn't going around, but the leftover kind of fans were still there, kind of like WrestleMania 19. It wasn't the Attitude, but it was like still big because it was left over, and that's we're still at that time. So to be one of the products on television during a hot time, oh my gosh, man,
it's an honor. It's an honor.
Yeah, it was an honor, and you felt it. when you would
Yes.
go out and people, wrestling fans, and being in the building and the buzz, it was special. So yeah, going to the East Coast, it was like, we traveled all around California and we're on TV everywhere, but man, now we're going over there. And again, it felt like another July 31st, 99. It almost felt like another new show again,
Absolutely. Almost like a rebirth.
Yeah, rebirth.
Almost.
There you go.
And just the fans too. I mean, again, let's face it. If it wasn't for the fans to buy a ticket, none of this would be possible.
No.
It's I've talked to you in the past. And I know you have too, but the fans that you've met and I've met through the years with XPW. I mean, I've met fans that flew in from Japan, England, just to be, and I'm talking about going to the West Coast to watch XPW, and just the dedication. Just, you knew right there and then that XPW is for real. When you got fans traveling from the other end, from other parts of the world here to come see you, it's a big deal. That's a very big deal.
Right. And I remember even Australia, shout out to California. He's was on his podcast and he's been covering the 3.0 era. California, California. He's down in Australia and but yeah, we had fans. I mean, people had money, the people that had money to do this, but there were those people that would come out to the Grand Olympic in LA. Juice wins. I guess a little audio here, George, and this is going to be the end of part 1, but let's get this audio here.
Here's your winner, Juventud Guerrera!
Hoovy.
Earlier tonight, the Juice Bar, the so-called debut tonight.
There's my mom, my dad, and my grandpa right there on the upper right. There's my dad. So they came out for this. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's my dad right there, the black shirt, my grandpa right next to him, my brother all the way to the right, my mom with the blonde hair right there.
That is so cool. They came out for this for you.
Yeah,
that is very cool.
We made a trip out of it. We went to see all the Independence Hall. We went to New York.
It's so funny, but how many times have your parents seen you do shows like this?
My dad lives up in Washington State, so whenever he would come down, he would come to the shows. My mom and my grandpa came to quite a few of them. My girlfriend at the time, yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun, and then they were supportive, and I can't be as blessed as that. I think a lot of us were supported, and that's why we did what we did, and we followed our dream, and can't be any more thankful. Oh, what is this? Julio De Niro. Hey, watch a little audio here, George, and then we'll.
That's Julio De Niro. Julio De Niro coming to the aid of Chris Chetty. Chetty, damn it already, it's Chetty. Can't believe the Juice got me doing it. But counters now from the Juice, and the Juice is livid. Talk about livid before. Irish whip reversal from De Niro, and another reversal from the Juice. Flying roundhouse right between the eyes. Both men going after Juventud Guerrera, but Hoovy wisely rolled out of the ring. And I think the Juice Bar has been blended into complete liquidation. Being escorted, if you will, out of here by senior official Patrick Hernandez. He's a little bit upset. But this is not the last that you're going to see of Julio De Niro and the Juice Juventud Guerrera. It can't be. This is only the beginning, ladies and gentlemen.
I remember during the time of XPW, I remember we had a lot of fans too that would make like XPW fan sites,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of them. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just the dedication that these fans would,
Yeah. Like actual fan sites. You're right. Not official
yeah,
sites, but a lot of information out there for XPW. Dang, Patrick, that was man, we're gonna be back on Xtreme Memories for part 2 of the rest of XPW's Hostile Takeover from August 31st, 2002. What a great trip down memory lane, Pat. And on the next part 2, we'll talk a little bit more about all the different eras. 1.0, which we just saw of XPW, 2.0, which we covered on the last episode of Cold Day in Hell, and XPW X that time, and of course a new iteration of 3.0. We'll talk about that as well. But what a time that was, Pat. Again, going to the East Coast for the first time, like we talked about throughout the episode, a lot of excitement, a lot of pressure, and in a good and bad ways, I guess. And just watching this again, seeing the scope of wrestling and the scope of our product, XPW, the TV, home video, coast to coast, and you saw an example of that right there, of just us going to a place where there was already knowledge of us, and we had to prove ourselves. And I think we did a good job with this show. It was a pretty solid show. And on part 2, fans, down the road right here on Xtreme Memories, we're going to see the rest of Hostile Takeover, including, man, whoa, Patrick, you remember the main event, Terry Funk, Shane Douglas, and all that went down there.
Oh my, where should I start?
Well, we'll start on part 2. Patrick Hernandez, my friend, so great to see you again, my brother. As always, I
Thank you
want to
so
have you on
much.
this. Yeah, it's just so much fun, just shooting
Thank
the
you, George,
shit.
behind the scenes.
That's right. Okay, we'll see you back here again next time for Xtreme Memories, once again on the 15th and 30th of every single month. And again, Patrick, you mentioned it a lot, the fans, the fan base, the really what made the machine operate. We want to get you now on Xtreme Memories. If you were a hardcore fan or just a fan in general that loved XPW, that followed it, that understood it, hit us up here. Hit us up. I'm at Kris Kloss on Facebook, just how it says on my messenger, or right here. Drop a comment down in the comment section. But please like, share, comment, share this video with your wrestling fans, friends. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this video. The more subscribers we get, the more great content we can bring to you. Pat, I'm looking forward to seeing you, my friend, on part 2 of XPW's Hostile Takeover. Great to see you, and great to see you, fans. We will see you next time right here for another edition of Xtreme Memories. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.